Do you ever feel stuck? Like you're spinning your wheels, or maybe no matter what you do, it doesn't seem to be working? Well, this is a very, very common complaint. And, whether it's in their relationship or in their business, this may be the one thing that's top of mind that people come to me about. And there's really two reasons why we get stuck. Either because we're overwhelmed, right? Or we're just so scattered that we can't make forward progress, or we perceive that there's going to be pain by doing what we're supposed to be doing. Now, the thing is that perception of pain might be valid, but it might not be valid. And that really is the important distinction to figure out. But let's tackle them one by one. So if your situation is that you're overwhelmed, well, you've got to get out of that. You've got to get out of that anxiety state. You've got to reduce the amount of things that you're handling. Maybe you can't put anything aside and never do it, but you've got to have a priority list so that you only handle a few things at a time. Ideally, one thing at a time, maybe a few things per day. And if you need to get yourself in a mindset for that, let me give you a quick little Qigong exercise called the wash, right? What you want to do is you want to sit or stand, ideally stand, but sitting is fine, but get your feet on the floor. You want to feel that connection with the ground. Breathe in and out and in and out. Nice and slowly. I'm just going to give you a really quick variation here. Just bring your arms up, nice and slowly. And as you bring them down in front of you, just imagine all of that energy pushing down, all of that chaos, all of those loose ends and threads and everything confused and tangled up in front of you. Just imagine you combing them straight through and pushing them down, leaving behind a nice, clear, energetic glisten, a nice, clear mind, a nice, clear vision. You can even imagine wiping away a film in front of you if that's something that occurs to you. Really, the trick is to find out how it's occurring to you in terms of your senses, right? In terms of your kinesthetics or your sight or your acoustics. And really want to work on those. Maybe it's quieting things down, wiping things away, pushing them down, feeling them sink. And you want to do that several times, ideally for at least a few minutes. And keep your breath nice and steady. Keep your visualization on clarifying, on simplifying, on organizing. And if you keep doing that, you're going to get to a state where you'll be able to be clear-headed and make good decisions. And then the trick is to actually prioritize, okay, here's what actually has to get done today, and then here's what the priorities are today, and here's the one thing we'll work on right now. I get it. I've got a wife, I got a sick mom, I've got a kid, I've got another kid on the way, I'm building products, I'm handling clients. It's very easy to get overwhelmed. I get there sometimes myself. So I always bring myself back to this exercise. And if you let yourself get stuck here too much, if you let yourself get stuck and overwhelmed too much, then it becomes very difficult to climb out. It becomes feeding into it because we become accustomed to it in a way. And even though we can't stand it, we sort of don't know what to do. And that kind of leads me in to the second reason why we tend to get stuck. And that is a perception of pain. And like I said, there are two possibilities. One is that the pain is real of what we're going to be going to. The other is that the pain is imagined. If we get stuck there enough, it can become self-defeating. So, what do I mean by pain? Well, we all have different things that are important to us and different styles of how we get there. Some of us are very good at just taking action, and some of us like to plan. Some of us like to organize. Some of us like to work with people. Some of us like to be collaborative. Some of us like to debate, right? There are many different styles. Some people work fast. Some people work slow. Some people enjoy technology. There's so many possibilities. These are the really big ones that I've shared with you. Now, if there's something that we have to do that we perceive is going to be painful, then we're going to kind of keep procrastinating. And if we let ourselves continue to procrastinate, we're going to wind up getting stuck there. What's an example of that? Well, maybe the biggest examples I have are people who are very kind of heart-centered entrepreneurs, right? They typically want to help people, but the idea of selling is painful to them, or the idea of having to work on learning technology to put together their website or a product, a training product, or whatever they want to put together. That just occurs to them as pain because what they really want to do is help and connect. So the idea of charging people is in some way painful, and the idea of doing something technical occurs to them as painful. Well, when they let themselves get stuck there, then they get calcified, right? They're perceiving that there's going to be pain. If you're not willing to pay somebody to do things for you, then your business is never going to move forward. And if your business does not move forward, then you've got other repercussions, right? You have repercussions in terms of money not coming in to possibly pay your mortgage, to pay for your kids' needs. You might have upset with your spouse if you're married in a long-term relationship that you're not pulling your share, or maybe even taking money out of your relationship to pay for other things around your business. So you're operating at a loss. This is a really big thing that happens a lot. A lot of relationships of people that I work with are in trouble because they're not handling their business well. They're not handling their business well because they're allowing themselves to get stuck. They're allowing themselves to get caught in this position where they're afraid of moving forward because they feel it's going to be painful. Now that's the first part, right? Where I mentioned that that there's something you don't want to do. The other one is where you just perceive that it's going to be pain. And that happens if we get burned enough times, right? Even if something that we would like to do, if we get burned enough times, we begin to expect that there's going to be pain, right? So many times also I'll work with somebody, their business was doing well, and then all of a sudden they start to get a bunch of rejection. Their client connections are not working, their sales calls are failing, and we all go through this to one extent or another, but when they start stacking up, it's easy to personalize that, and you begin to kind of expect that. And then they don't want to make that sales call again, even if they were rocking out for several years. All of a sudden, they've got a stack that's coming up, and it's like bam, 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 pain, 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 pain. Well, you don't know what the next one is going to be, right? But if you have enough recent experience, you begin to expect that it's going to be painful. And this is a case where you definitely have to break through. And frankly, I can't work with you in this very short call right now on it. There's some great NLP techniques that I use for it, some hypnosis to really help people, again, reorganize the experience, to charge up and be able to, bam, push through, get that breakthrough, do what they have to do, no longer feel stopped, no longer feel intimidated, no longer feel overwhelmed, no longer feel pushed down or pushed back by adversity, but that they have the power, they have the competence, they have the luck on their side, and they're going to be able to be successful. They've just got to keep pushing. If you want to try something on your own, just think back to that Qigong exercise I told you about a few minutes ago, right? That was for anxiety, but you can do the same type of concept and translate it into what you need to make happen, right? I was showing you how to integrate some movement and sensory perception to bring around a sense of calm and peace and relaxation so that you can get out of overwhelm and make clear decisions. You can do the same type of thing to visualize getting out of pain, to feeling confident, and to moving forward. So if you're interested in that, drop me a line. I'd love to work with you. You can go to my website for more information too. That's GUYARDITO.com. Remember, we all get knocked down from time to time, but you got to get back up. Do not let yourself get stuck. Do not let yourself get stuck from overwhelm. Do not let yourself get stuck by feelings of pain. We all have bad days. It happens to the best of us. The difference between those of us who make it and those of us who don't is that we understand our strengths, we leverage other people, and we keep pushing through. All right, that's it for today. Go on, rock out, and remember, life is an adventure. Live in love.